Kia ora koutou, ko Jennifer Ingawa. We're doing a workshop on trying to unpack when clothes become our friends, and we're trying to make stronger, better relationships with our clothes that are outside of the kind of reductive mindset that we tend to apply. Not everybody, we've got some amazing wearers here that are having very enriching relationships, but we've had some really good discussions about how could we maybe shift how we greet clothes and how we talk to clothes, because the language and the stories we tell ourselves and each other can sometimes perpetuate that mindset of fast disposable consumption. So we've had some amazing kind of new ways of thinking, and I think where were we? We were talking about, do you mind continuing? Yeah.
This couture, believe it or not, when I put it on, it gives me a layer of attitude, and I feel quite coddled in it, like you were saying. But it references a very troubled area at the moment in Palestine, and yet I get this feeling of care and warmth from it. I find that, it just makes me think of them and how that transmits through this garment in a different way. And I see my friend has got one here too.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, did you know each other before this session or no?
But it is a connecting.
Yeah. I remember the first time seeing that scarf. It must have been in the 80s or 90s though, because and I remember like people starting, it's got a massive, in Ireland we've always, supported Palestine, so it would have been worn quite a lot.
Because Arafat wore this when he was doing his high profile negotiations around the world together, setting Palestine.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely got a long history of image, and quite often people will buy the scarf and wear it or something similar and not understand the connection. Which is
but you wonder then if it becomes a vehicle to find out more, and to have that embodied kind of wisdom and recognition and connection to something that is so shared across the globe. Sadly, we live in a world that some things do get co-opted, in various different industries. Does it reach a wider audience, a different type of audience that maybe wouldn't have known about it? And then we could ask where it was made, who it was made, could it be a visible symbol, but could that support be going to, to the workers that are maybe making it in that region so there's that whole kind of life cycle, but that's fabulous. Like fashion, it could be a political act. How did it feel seeing someone with the Palestinian scarf? Did it?
Yeah, it's we're Māori, so we have the colonial experience, post-colonial experience, but it feels it's a sense of pride wearing it in a space like this, in a learning environment, I guess, to honour the peace and solidarity that we have within our bicultural relations, reflected in a multicultural lens in a space like this. But I used to live in the Middle East as well, and so I lived in Egypt. I went as AFS returnee, so American Field Service, and they have a green one, and so it kind of varies across this idea of mana motuhake, or self-determination. So I like the idea of intercultural learning and these principles that come to the forefront of solidarity. Similarly, we wear the raukura, 3 feathers of parihaka, to resemble peace and understanding and learning. So I hope that makes sense.
That was beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. Wow.
They got it.
And absolutely. And so much of our cultures through colonization have lost those connection to the meaning of symbols, and you think how much that's allowed us to then live more how can I say, sometimes shallow existence of purchasing or constant acquisition without knowing what they're trying to say and what their connection is to mana whenua, to land, it's...
Can I give one example on something I see? In Te Ao Māori we have the pātiki, and for those of us that have been around Wynyard Kora, that's the tiles are all done in the pātiki, which is the shape of the flounder, which for guests, if you were coming to someone's house, you would put on your most hospitable foods, like the pātiki, flounders, abundant of flounders. And in relation to the waitemata, and the pataki. I see it in this pattern. One second. Anyone else here?
Yeah.
It's just here.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
In a cross stitch. And this was made by Palestinian moms here in Aotearoa and gifted to a group of community. And they talk about the, I think something called like the evil eye, but this dispelling evil to be in a positive light. And then aspects of art, which is like land and regenerative practice. So yeah, it feels kind of aligned in some other ways.
Very much so, yeah. And like textiles, I think there was a culture where knotting was their actual language. I think it was Icelandic culture. And so you think of how much that tactility, and we're not only prioritizing the visual, but there's so much symbolism and how maybe our ways of learning and understanding were so embodied, and bringing back the body and that experience is so central. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing all of this. Do you mind sharing as well? Because I think this is so important about, I think we talked about like dressing to lift energy, suiting your mood, and there's maybe a sense that we can see each other's lived experience. Like we know when someone is, we kind of have a sense that someone's happy or not so much, or going through something, and maybe the clothing can help be part of that journey.
Yeah, for me, I think embracing colour was a way of trying to connect with who I was. I went through depression and was wearing a lot of black, and I needed to shake myself up. People don't see that, but I'm actually in depression. But I use the clothing to get me up and going in the morning to lift my energy. Say, one foot in front of the other, and you can do this. And so I think I would encourage people to embrace colour more, find your colour, and experiment, and maybe just experiment with one little piece of colour. I think the world is dark enough without us actually not having colour, in our lives. And I love people who really totally rock. I love that you mix different patterns and colours together and stuff like that.
Thank you.
I think it lightens the room, it lightens the energy, and but it, and how can you do that? Specific. So we definitely have vibrational of colour, and it's all in there. The orange for the Buddhism, the purple for royalty, green for nature, for lifting yellows. And so, and you'll have a specific colour. I normally like green, but at the moment it's pink to lift the energy, the heart energy. So it's important that we play with and experiment with colour.
Oh, I could not agree more. 100%. It's so beautiful. And so much of like modernism or modernist thinking in the has kind of got us to play safer and, lose our sense of that connection and that deeper connection, as we're more susceptible to fads and trends if we don't know ourselves deeply. So if we can get a deep understanding of our connection to our values, our purpose, our feelings, that's something kind of unshakable, and I think really, really powerful.
Not follow the trends, but embrace what I like and what suits me, and rock my own style.
Amazing. Yeah. And think of all the different types of cycles of time or seasonality, and reconnecting with bioindicators, or there's all different ways of recognizing our lived experience and the rhythms that we kind of want to employ that I think can be for our fulfillment and our enrichment. And does anyone ever notice the type of textiles that they're wearing can really help you feel grounded or not? Like when you wear a linen or something, like it's just such a beautiful feeling on your body and your skin, and you're like, this is a raw fiber, this is a natural. I was digging in the dirt yesterday. I was down in an organic farm, and we were planting indigo plants, and it was just, and there's things about the microbiome that connects with that within the soil, and it's it's exciting.